All right, hello everyone. Welcome to Kirby Streamland Knockout Tournament here. I'm E Blooded Candy, and with me on commentary is Infinite Mystery.
Hello, everyone.
Hello. It's been a while, Infinite. We haven't chatted for a while. GDQ?
Has it been really that long?
I think so. Our paths haven't crossed recently. It's nice. It's nice to have you on board.
I thank you for having me, and I'll try my best with this commentary of this great game.
Oh, you're gonna knock it out of the park. Kirby's Dreamland, one of the best games to commentate. Because there ain't that many, like, there's no crazy glitches in the game. There's some RNG manipulations that I can touch on early on, but like the RNG manipulation, like if you mess up one piece of it, it's done for the entire run. Like you can't get it back. So it's gonna be pretty interesting to see how the more experienced runners kind of take on the knockout challenge versus maybe some of the less experienced runners. Like, do they go for broke, or do they try and play it safe and stay in the tournament? So, but you'll notice right away on the screens here we do have the Japanese version and the English version, we'll call it, because both Europe and America had the same title screen. As of right now, we don't know if we haven't found any difference between the two versions of the game or the two region differences of the game. So everything is hunky-dory. The only difference is you'll notice that the Japanese one is cooler looking than the American one, in my opinion. But I do recognize some of these names. I know Dark Soul from various Kirby Streamland tournaments that I participated in the past. A little bit of a revenge arc, maybe, because I know they knocked me out in the last KDL tournament I ever participated in. So excited to see them on board and in the knockout tournament. But it's always fun with, especially Game Boy. It's always fun to see the different palettes of colors when it comes to the Game Boy. Because right now we have some of the OG green happening. We have a little bit of a sepia tone. Then we have the black and white. Like some people will have like the blue and white if they're on the Game Boy player. You'll have the purple, green, whatever else if they're using like a certain palette in the Super Game Boy 2. Game Boy speedrunning is just a gift that keeps giving, especially when it comes to color schemes. So.
So alongside Dark Soul 188, we have Dark Ryu 27, Carlson 17. I can't tell what that name is in the number 3 window.
That is Turtle.
Okay, Turtle RTA.
Then we have Weapon, and then we have Concakes in here as well too. So got a very nice variety of runners for this.
And Fast Facts as well.
And Fast Facts, yeah.
And looks like we have our first race starting now.
Yeah, so here we go. We got the race underway here. So our runners are going to be basically trying to take little-ish damage, but the damage you do see them take is probably going to be purpose, especially if they're going forward. This game is all about lag management and damage boosting, but also a little bit of health management. Luckily enough, in normal mode, which is what this tournament is being ran on right now, most of everything only does 1 damage to you. So there's not a ton of fear of dying. Dark Soul and Dark Rio getting really nice Poppy fights here. Poppy is your first contention of RNG in this game. So I mentioned before there's an RNG manipulation that was found by Speedman or Jumpy Penguin back in the day, where they on a certain frame of the title screen, you can get into a certain seed in the memory where if you can keep basically all that memory allocation going, you can predict every single movement and every single outcome that's going to happen between a boss and all of the NPCs across the scene. The hard part with managing that RNG manipulation is that every single sprite that is created on the screen, so when Kirby lands, the little stars that pop out, all the little dots that appear when Kirby is inhaling, all the sprites that appear when Kirby, shoots the star out and hits something, everything manipulates that RAM pattern. So it's really difficult to keep all of that. It's really difficult to keep that RNG manipulation for the full, 10, 15 minutes of this game. So, but you'll notice, so the first RNG contention was the Poppy brother there. Poppy has 3 different attacks it can do. It's always going to throw 2 bombs at you. The third bomb is where the RNG comes into play, whether it's going to be a slow bomb, a fast bomb, or he's just going to dance over you. But our runners here are now in Castle Lololo. And it looks like Dark Soul is going to be going for what we call the Curry Kill. The Curry Kill is slightly faster if you can get the bosses to line up properly. It's a very, very tight window to get the curry and then get into the boss room as fast as possible. So here we have Dark Soul with a nice lineup for the curry kill, but unfortunately couldn't get to the boss room fast enough, so they're going to have to at least do a 3 cycle on the boss fight themselves. Looks like the same thing may have happened to Dark Rio as well. So as we get into Float Islands now, so Float Islands is, I would call it your more technical stage. This stage here, they shoved in, I think, every sprite imaginable in Kirby's Dream Land, and this stage is brutal in terms of lag management. What you're going to see various runners do, and depending on which route they actually take for this stage, this is a stage I routed very heavily because of the microphone towards the end. So in Kirby's Dream Land, there are no copy abilities at all. It's a very pure game in terms of that. However, there are power-ups that Kirby can get and use throughout the game, one of them being the microphone. If Kirby does take in the microphone and use it, it is a long process for Kirby to sing, although it does break every sprite on the screen. However, if Kirby already has something inhaled, aka an enemy, and walks over the microphone, Kirby has a few frames where Kirby can just immediately swallow the microphone, and we don't have to worry about that power-up at all. Otherwise, some runners may jump up, shoot the Bronto Bird that's in the way, and jump over the microphone. Like I said, this stage is all about lag management. That's why you see a lot of runners skip the curry as well too on the ship, because the curry has extra sprites, which causes lag. Here, so we have the Kabula fight. The Kabula fight is actually a pretty cool fight, but it is pretty scary if you go into it with semi-low health. Kabula has, let's say, 3 different attacks. It can do a stagger shot, a tri-shot, and it'll eventually charge at you. The name of the game is be as close to the boss as possible, because the closer you are to the boss, the faster you can shoot out your mint leaf puffs. So, and here we are in Bubbly Clouds. Bubbly Clouds is by far the longest stage of the game. This is your endurance round right here. This stage here has some crazy movement. And this is where you kind of get introduced to some of the glitches that can potentially save a couple of frames here and there. We'll see if some of our runners do go for it, though. This place here also, we have a 100% category, which you collect everything. This is also one of the stages that many people forget, that there's an actual hidden room not only in the moon, but before the Kracko Jr. fight here. So the Kracko Jr. fight in normal mode is very simple. It's going to drop out a Waddle Doo after it spits out its cannonballs and does some waving features here. Our runners are going to be somewhat close to Kracko Jr. to get the Waddle Doo as soon as possible. Hit it 3 times, then they're going to jump to the center of the screen to get the star. Here's where a glitch can happen, where if Kirby inhales the star as they touch the water, Dark Soul is very close of getting it there. Where they can glitch into the background. It saves a couple of frames. It's not a game changer by any means. It does look cool though, and it is hard to kind of control Kirby because you kind of don't know where they are. In the Starfall room, on normal mode, there's nothing to worry about at all except for the pits. The pits in the Starfall room are probably your #1 enemy because this is in every Kirby game, even in the newest Kirby game, is that if you start to fall into a pit as you're exhaling, it is very hard to get control of Kirby again. So you have to be a little lucky to try and inhale and try to float out of the pit, otherwise you may just fall down to your death. So now we have a couple runners here going into the Kracko fight. This is the infamous boss fight of Kirby's Dream Land, where your runs kind of just either are made or broken. And the unfortunate part is the runners have to do this fight twice. Dark Soul getting some nice RNG here on Kracko. Kracko has various different types of attacks. The one that you want is Kracko giving you a Waddle Doo to allow you to hit the cloud. Otherwise, it's going to swoop down, do a lightning attack. If you're too far away from Kracko, or if you already have something in your mouth, Kracko will float across the top, which is actually a slower movement. So we want to make sure that we're close to Kracko and hitting it as fast as we can here. So here we're going into Mount DDD now. Mount DDD is a boss rush stage. Like every good retro game out there, you gotta have a boss rush stage. And our runners will go into Castle Lololo and Lololo refight first, because as Kirby enters the screen, Kirby actually lands closer to the Castle Lololo and Lololo door, so it just makes sense to go into there first. From there, the runners can kind of have a choice of which order they want to do bosses in. Most of the time, the runners will take on Kracko next or Kabula next. So it looks like Dark Soul is going for Kracko next and not opting for the Gordo clip. So in Mount DD, so we didn't talk about Gordos at all. So in Kirby's Dream Land, unlike any other Kirby game after, Gordos do 3 damage to Kirby in Kirby's Dream Land 1, which is a ton of health. That's literally half your health bar. Same as Spike Pits. Spike Pits will do half of your remaining health bar. So if you have 6 health, you'll have 3 health after you hit a spike. If you have 3 health, you have 1 health after you hit a spike. So you have to be very careful about the spikes, especially in the Flow Islands re-entry. Oh, it does look like Dark Rio tried to go for the Gordo clip there. Maybe ran out of time or tried to go with it without the iframes. So anyway, Gordos. So Gordos and Mount DDD are stage 5. Instantly kill you. It doesn't matter how much health you have. You can have a full bar health. If you touch a Gordo in front of the door, you just will die. So the name of the game is you're supposed to collect your Kirby Mimic, open the door, and push forward. However, if you do a damage boost or take damage of any way possible, you have what we call iframes or invincibility frames, where you can actually go behind the Gordo and go into the door without having to collect your Kirby mirror. It actually saves a pretty significant amount of time. However, there's only 2 real circumstances that you can really do that in, and that is the Green Greens re-entry and the Kracko re-entry. You can do it without taking damage, but it's like a 3-frame trick. Oh, that Dark Ryu just got on green greens. That is insane. Where you can literally run and slide under the Gordo and press up at the right time. You have like a 2 to 3 frame window to do that. That was insane to see. So now we have Dark Soul going against King DDD here. King DDD has 4 different attacks. King DDD can jump up and drop down 2 stars, which, depending on the runner, you may see them utilize something what we call a task bit to go for a double hit. We'll discuss that in a little bit later. The hammer hit, which gives you 1 star, a run and dive, or a inhale. The inhale is the last attack you want DDD to do because it's the longest attack DDD has. So that's one thing our runners need to keep in mind as well too. And DDD has a ton of health, so depending on the runner, if they have low health going into the fight, they may purposely take a death just to start the fight with full health. But again, this is a knockout tournament, so it depends on how much they wanna challenge it. And we have Dark Soul here finishing in first place with a time of 12 minutes and 10 seconds. Amazing run. Followed by Dark Ryu with a time of 12 minutes and 39 seconds. Congratulations to you both. So here on normal, we get to see all the food fall down across Dreamland. Time has been saved. All right, so we got Turtle here facing off against DDD. So you can just see how much DDD, like how much health DDD has compared to Kirby's 6 health there. So, also the name of the game with DDD is if you're not going for double hits, you kind of want to be close to DDD because the way DDD's hammer is that he's going to smash it in Kirby's last known location when he activates that attack. That's why you're going to see some of the runners be extremely close to DDD with that. But it also is scary because DDD can do an instant inhale and, well, you're stuck in DDD's stomach for a bit. So here we have Weapon facing off against Wispy Woods here with one health. Gotta be careful with Wispy a little bit. The apples, if they hit you, do 1 damage. The wind exhales from Wispy does 1 damage. Wispy's face does 2 ticks of damage too. So you gotta be a little bit careful with the Wispy fight. So yeah, here we see Kong going in with one hit point. That's gonna go ahead and take that intentional death to face him off against full health. A lot of runners in races will do that. A lot of it's a safety thing because if you get DDD down to like 2 health, then you unfortunately die. Like that's a lot of time gone. So definitely a safety strat for sure with something like this. Something else to understand with Kirby's Dream Land 1, there is no power-up star. So if you inhale 2 stars in Kirby's Dream Land, it doesn't power up the exhale at all. It just still counts as 1 damage of an exhale. So there's no reason to purposely try and get multiple enemies or multiple stars in 1 inhale.
Congrats to Turtle for his finish. And it looks like we got quite a few people on facing King DDD.
Yeah, it looks like Carlson there knocking out DDD and Kong knocking out DDD very close together.
Okay. Looks like Weapon only has a few hits left.
Yeah. Some facts about Weapon though. Favorite aspect of the run is that it was a childhood favorite. Loves the game for being a simple platformer with a memorable character. Favorite speed run, almost any randomizer. Which I can applaud. I've been playing a few randomizers lately. They are fun. Special info: streamer since 2012, same year the Nintendo 3DS XL and the Wii U was released. Also, wow. Wow, that's crazy. I think the Nintendo 3DS and the Wii U was released 11 years ago.
Wow.
Oh boy. So weapon here need to be a little bit careful with one hit point. He also has to be a little bit careful floating over DDD while he has the hammer, because DDD will jump up in the air and swing the hammer. So it does have to be a bit careful on that as well.
Not the best King DD pattern.
Yeah, this DDD pattern is pretty rough. I love the palette though. I'm glad Kirby's pink in this palette at least.
Oh no.
That's unfortunate, but luckily, you know, so it's unfortunate that Died had a game over. However, in stage 5, when you do continue it, since you've already completed the previous 4 stages, you can just go right into the DDD fight. So the game is pretty forgiving in that factor. But if you do game over during the refights, you do have to redo all of the refights again.
That's fair.
Yeah. I'm still waiting for the day. I'll come back to Dreamland when they can figure out how to skip all the refights. Stage 5 is my least favorite stage of the game. So DDD's hop is actually really interesting too. This is probably more so an extra mode thing than a normal mode thing. But when DDD is completely off the screen, there is probably like a 99% chance that DDD will jump back into the screen to generate stars. So if you're ever having a hard time with DDD, he's just giving you slides. Take him off screen, he'll jump in. And whenever DDD jumps in, he'll either kind of hit where you were or try and guess where you're going to move to. And with that, weapon takes out DDD,
GG
saves
weapon?
Dreamland, gives the food back to the folks of Dreamland, and everything is all happy go lucky. GG to everyone.
I honestly always forget just how fast this game really is.
Yeah, it's crazy. Yeah, having ran this game for many years in many different categories, it's always interesting to ask, like, oh, what's your estimate? Well, like, we'll say 15 minutes, but like reality, it could be, you know, 11, 12, 13, depending on how much it wants to snowball. So with that here, we have Dark Soul with their first place time of 12:10, followed by Dark Ryu with a 12:39, Turtle with a 13:20, Carlson with a 15 flat, Concakes with a 15:02, Weapon with an 18:33, and unfortunately, Weapon is knocked out in round 1. So we have 5 runners left to continue through the knockout tournament.
Did we forget Fast Facts? Or...
Fast Facts is the fast facts they see on the screen about the streamers and about the game eventually.
Oh, my mistake.
But you can see here the SRC PBs there. So you have Dark Ryu with a sub 10. You have Dark Soul with 11:26, Turtle with 11:26. Those times are insane. So just for like having like a visual, like I ran this game for 5 years. I have an 11:33 with none of the RG manipulations at all. Those 3 runners are fairly new KDL runners. Dark Souls been at it for a while, but they are fairly new KDL runners, and they have insane times already. And the fact that Dark Rio has a sub 10, they know the RNG manipulation. So
impressive.
Yeah, those are incredible times. I remember back when I was a very active Dreamland runner, normal mode runner, and like having a sub 12 was like you were put on a mountain if you had a sub 12 in Dreamland. Like there were only like 6 of us at the time that had a sub 12. Now there's so many sub 12s. It's just the amount of knowledge that we have about the game now, the amount of just like access people have to this game now, and just the pure talent that is out there now is speedrunning. It's just absolutely incredible to see times this get shaved so quickly. But if you are interested in ever playing Kirby's Dream Land, there are so many ways to play it. Like there's the 3DS Virtual Console. It's on the Switch, so if you are one of those Nintendo Online subscribers on the Switch, it is in the Game Boy version or the Game Boy software for the Switch. It has been tested, so if you do want to ever speedrun Dreamland, you can absolutely play it on the Switch. And other, obviously buy a cart and play it on a Game Boy and other various means as well. All right, and with that, we are going to get round 2 of this knockout tournament underway here. Something I always found fun with Dreamland 2 is that when you play normal mode, you just get like the basic like staff roll credits. And then you have Kirby that's on a pedestal, says goodbye, and then you see Deity bounce across the floor, and it tells you how to engage extra mode or extra game. But if you beat extra mode, after the staff roll, you get a sprite roll. And that is probably my favorite ending of all. And you have DDD just it's a little sad, but like super crying and just walks off the screen. And then that just tells you how to go into configuration mode, and you can kind of adjust your lives and your health and whatnot off of that. And with that, we have round 2 starting off here. Let's see what kind of RNG they're going to get with the Poppy here. So, yeah, I know you have dabbled in this game a decent amount as well too. What are your thoughts on Dreamland and what came after it in the same year and a couple years later?
There were so many games that I was either trying to learn or revisit when I first started, but this game was kind of special, despite the fact that I hadn't really had a chance to play it due to not having it for the Game Boy. That's up until a certain point. But just learning this game in general has been quite fun. I would still like to understand extra mode better.
Well, we're gonna hang out at GDQ this year, so who better than to teach you?
I welcome that.
Alright, so we got some fast facts here for Dark Soul while they fight Wispy Woods here and having one more hit left to get into Castle Lololo. The favorite aspect of their run is that it was I'm being lied to. Dark Soul facts, Kirby's Dream Land PB is 11:26. Insane time, absolutely incredible time. And the favorite thing about the run is Krakow. That's
interesting. That's the worst part.
That's a hot take right there. Yeah. it is a fun boss fight. I'll give it that, but yeah, it's a fight. Um, but
I'd rather deal with
Casalolo,
extra mode version of that boss.
yeah, oh, extra mode Krakow is such a it's the only pure different fight in the game. First of all, every other fight in the game is pretty much the same, just a little bit quicker or like one extra attack. Krakow is a completely different fight in extra mode, and it's so much easier and faster in extra mode. It's insane. But Castle Lololo is pretty interesting. Unfortunately, Dark Soul not getting a great pattern there on the Lololo fight with Curry, giving Dark Ryu a chance to get a nice little head start in Flow Islands. But Castle Lololo is kind of an interesting stage because it's the stage that first introduces the power-ups in the game. So you have, there, oddly enough, there are 5 different power-ups in this game, I believe. There is the microphone, the bomb, the papaya, or mint leaf, I think it's actually called. I call it the papaya because that's what it looks like. And then there's the curry plate, and there is the sucker. So if you've ever played a Kirby game, the invincibility sucker is notorious, right? This game does have the invincibility sucker. There's only one in the entire game, and it's so far out of the way in Castle Lololo and La. The only time you would ever see it is if you did a 100% run of the game. So, interesting fact about that. But there are 5 power-ups in this game. So, another cool thing about the La fight is that when you have the three little sections there, luckily enough on normal mode they're always going to give you a box, but on extra mode they give you a Gordo they give you a Gordo after the box, so you gotta be pretty quick with inhaling and exhaling on extra mode. But Dark Rio making fantastic time right now, knocking out Kabula and going into stage 4 Bubbly Clouds. Unfortunately, with Carlson there taking a death middle of the ship, but understands not to take the Curry plate, so we're gonna save a lot of lag frames there. Another nice thing about the ship with normal mode 2 is that the cannons will only do a tri-shot, unlike extra mode where the cannons just never stop shooting. So another nice little sequence there for normal mode as well. As we go into Bubbly Clouds is a very interesting stage as well too, because they do give you a lot of sprites in the stage as well. One of the big factors to this is health management. This entire stage is all about health management, because reality is when you defeat Krakow Jr., you don't want to try and get the maximum tomato or the health juice at all on the wall. You want to be the second from the top row of that wall, because that gives you the perfect amount of momentum and drop to land onto the platform that you need to get onto afterwards. So again, this it's an endurance stage. Like, this stage is extremely long, and you have to be careful of just your health in general.
Race looks to be pretty close between Carlson and Concakes at the moment.
Yeah, this is a fantastic race right now. And we have Dark Ryu going into the actual wall that we were talking about there, while Dark Soul is taking on Krakow Jr. Krakow Jr. is kind of a fun fight because it all depends on the runner that you watch as well too. A lot of runners, at least now, I feel, will run to the back corner and just sit there and just wait for Krakow Jr. to kind of wisp right past them. A lot of the older runners, myself included, will actually stand on the left edge of that middle fountain and just jump over Krakow Jr. as it swoops down. So there's no proper way of doing it, as long as you hit Krakow Jr. as fast as possible. It was a very interesting thing to notice between some of the older and newer runners of the game.
And we have Crackle Jr. and Crackle Senior on
Normal
3 separate
Kracko?
fights. Normal Crackle, yeah.
I don't know. There's always just Kracko. But the Kracko fight, like we mentioned earlier, this is the notorious fight for the speed run. This fight makes or breaks your run, and like I said, it's kind of unfortunate you have to face off against it twice. The RNG manipulation that we talked about before, Kracko just hands you Waddle Dees, and you're just through the fight so fast. It's actually incredible. But we have Dark Ryu here going into the refight of Lolo and La, just making.
Ooh.
Oh, he gets it! He's insane!
So close.
Dude, that is, I have never seen anyone actually get that door before.
Me neither.
On a slide. That was insane, dude. Oh man.
Wow.
So out of all of the ones to Gordo clip without iframes, the Float Islands re-entry is the easiest one. Oh, dude, I can't. There is no way. The Float Islands re-entry is the easiest one to do it in because you can kind of go from the bottom and time your jump into the door from the bottom of the floor. Oh my God, I can't get over it right now. Dude,
And the worst part is if you take a hit from the Gordos, that does what, 3 damage?
These Gordos instantly kill you.
Oh, okay.
So as you can see there, Dark Ryu going for the Gordo clip without the iframes. Is he gonna go for? Okay, I was gonna say, is he going for it again? But there is a way to do the Kracko one. If you inhale the first enemy as you're falling down and kind of lean to the left side, you can take damage from the final floating enemy and use those iframes to fall behind the Gordo there. That's typically how a lot of us will do that Gordo clip. So otherwise, you can just run across and hit the Waddle D that's on the ground and just run back and go behind the Gordo, but that's just waste time. So.
Everybody's progressing at a really good pace.
Yeah, incredible race right now. Dark Ryu in the Green Greens re-entry gets into Wispy. God, 3 for 4. Just, I can't believe it.
It's such an incredible strat, and the minimum time save.
The fact that they're able to do it, just real time, just going for it. B, in a race setting, there's no way. Oh man, that is. So here we see Dark Ryu going for the double star and getting it. So what happens here is that we have something called what we call the task bit. You have an 8-frame window of when Kirby inhales something. If you swallow and exhale within 8, if you swallow and exhale the item within 8 frames of each other, you can do what we call an instant attack, or what we call the task bit, where if you're within 5 frames of the object that you inhale, you can instantly spit it back out. So what they do with the double star is that they set up the first star, with the task bit. They get as close as they can to it, inhale it, hit it, and immediately take a damage boost through DDD to get to the second star to hit him with the second star that he generated on a dive. So, but we have Dark Ryu with a time of 11:34.
GG's Dark Ruru.
Is insane. And then Dark Souls second place with a 12:22. Another nice race run.
Very close race.
12:37 from Turtle.
Okay.
So we have Carlson versus Kong right now. So Kong needed to be a bit careful with 1 health. Luckily, with the green greens, if he's careful with the apples, should be fine. Probably will take an intentional death on DDD, however. Carlson here making some work on DDD here. Looks like DDD's giving him a pretty mediocre pattern at least to get through the fight. Hopefully no fear in dying, as they do now have 3 hit points matched up with King DDD. And commentator's curse, of course, so
It happens more often than we would like. 1 hit left on Carlson's side.
And then that should be time for
GG.
Carlson with a 13:45.
And Concake's fun facts. Kirby PB 14:36. His goal time, he wants a sub 12:30. Favorite thing about the run, Kirby music. Hook fact, this game is not the hook.
The music in this game is pretty top notch. There's a fan ROM hack of this game called Kirby's Dreamland like Advanced or something like that, which uses the Nightmare Dreamland physics engine and graphics engine, and it's just purely Dreamland. For me, it's incredibly difficult because I hate the Nightmare Dreamland physics, but it is a fun game though. And with that, we have Concakes finishing in 5th place with a time of 14 minutes and 51 seconds.
GG Concakes.
GG, everyone, in round 2. All right, and with that, round 2 now done. We have this time around Dark Ruru taking 1st place with an 11:34, Dark Saw with a 12:22, Turtle with a 12:37, Carlson with a 13:45, and Concakes unfortunately getting eliminated with a 14:51. Still a great time for a new runner of the game. So,
and he was very close to his PB.
Very close to his PB, yeah. Absolutely. A sub 12:30, just a little bit. Give it a little bit more time. That's very obtainable. 14:51 is a great time for a new runner. So
yes.
I do think one of my favorite things about the ending is that we have the mint leaf and we have the curry plate in the game to eat, but he drops bananas and apples and all sorts of other food. He's flying the castle over Dreamless. What? Apparently DDD does not like mint or curry, so
And I guess congrats are also in order for Carlson. his race time of 13:45 for round 2 was faster than his SRC PB of
PB for
14:33.
Carlson.
That's
That's incredible.
almost a minute time save. That's great. And as we prepare for round 3,
Yep.
this is a very stacked race.
Yeah, round 3 is going to be interesting because even though like we may see Carlson with like a 13-minute time, like if a runner takes an accidental death, you know, during the run, like if they fall into a pit or Krakow just doesn't want to cooperate with him, or DDD doesn't want to cooperate with him, it's literally anyone's game. That's what I love about Dreamland so much, about the race aspect of it. Is like you can be an underdog against, you know, some of the top runners, and you could still come out on top. All right, with that, we're gonna get round 3 underway here. All right, and with that, round 3 should be starting right about now. So again, at the start, kind of the target time to start that opening sequence is like 19 to 20 seconds to get out of that screen.
Mm.
So, but you'll see again with the Poppy Bro, if they get the RNG manipulation at all, Poppy will give them a fast bomb on the third bomb throw. Otherwise, you may see some of the players kind of like inch and jump and kind of create sprites. Basically it was something that Controller Head, Fretzy, myself, True Shade. We kind of did that just to be like, we think we're manipulating Poppy by doing this. In theory, we were, but we had no clue if it was actually working. So it just happened that like we got it more times than not doing it, so we just kept doing it. But we see Dark Rio getting the Poppy dance, so that just shows that he or they did not get the RNG manipulation out of the gate, so they will now be played at the mercy of RNG for the rest of this run. This is probably my favorite sequence of the entire game too, is this tree climb. Because it may not look like much, but it's actually pretty technical because Kirby can actually move faster when you exhale in the air. So knowing when to exhale, when to when to pop certain enemies and keep going, it's actually it takes a little bit of strategy to get through there efficiently. But all of our runners getting fantastic wispy fights here. So everyone going into Castle Lololo and La La La. And you notice on Dark Souls screen where they instantly shot out those two sprites. We still don't for sure know why that actually happens. It's probably something that probably relates to a little bit of like an overload in the programming for Kirby inhaling those enemies, especially since they're staggered like that. But it's a thing. It doesn't save any time at all if it doesn't happen. It's just kind of a glitch in the game that, honestly, if you play the game casually, will probably happen to you as well. One thing that the runners, I would say, do have to be a little bit careful of. So when they grab the curry from that room, there is a glitch that if you do hold the inhale just a little bit too long, Dark Rio getting curry kill on low and la. Unfortunately, Dark Soul not getting the pattern needed to get the curry kill. But
Hmm.
back with the curry stuff. So if they hold the inhale button just a little too long, what can happen is that when Kirby inhales the curry, um, Kirby can actually stay in his inhaled state, which means that when Kirby lands, you actually don't have control of Kirby for about half a second, which means you can't get out of the room quick enough. So if that
Hmm.
ever happens, you can't get to the low room fast enough to do the full curry kill. So at best case scenario, if that happens, you are gonna get a 4-cycle low and la. So
Interesting.
we can see Carlson taking a bit of the safe route overflow islands. Like I said, this stage it's a very technical stage. I know Speedman and myself have spent many hours discussing each other's routes through the stage because we both have very different strategies for the stage and try to determine which one is faster, which one is slower, which parts of it is faster, etc. So um, the debate I think is still out there of whether or not which route is actually faster through there. We do know that fluttering over the stage is slower because of Kirby's flight speed um, isn't as fast as well the walk or jump speed. So you can see Dark Rio there doing a nice little hop over the cannon. Did almost get bonked into the pit. So getting hit into the pit like that is scary because when you are initially hit, you don't have control of Kirby for a little bit. So and the bottom of the screen isn't exactly the bottom of the screen. There is like it's like 5 pixels uh, of padding on the bottom of the screen that if you even remotely touch that dead zone, you just get sucked into the pit and die.
Hmm.
So you do have to be careful. Like even though the bottom of the screen is quote unquote the pit, if you get close to the bottom of the screen, it is quote unquote the pit. So I have lost many of runs to that unfortunate circumstance.
That sounds like about the same action as Mario 1 underwater areas.
Yeah, very similar. Yeah. Yeah, where you hit the bottom of the blue and then you're just nope. Mario just goes into the void.
Dark Soul and Turtle are both in their Kracko Jr. fights.
Yeah.
Not many hits left.
I remember when we used to have very active SRL races with Kirby's Dream Land. When we got to the room that Dark Rio is in right now with the stars falling, I would say there was a chance every race that someone would jump over the curry plate instead of grabbing it on the way up, and they would have to run back, get the plate, and then run back to the block. That's a very easy power up to jump over at the start of the stage. So. All right, Dark Rio have a fantastic Kracko fight going into Mount DDD, while Dark Soul is going into the Kracko fight, followed by Turtle RTA.
It was a risky strat, but at least it paid off since he had an extra enemy on screen.
Yeah. especially with all the damage he was taking in there too. So that's another thing too, guys. Like damage management or like health management is huge. Just every time I see him, just insane. Gordo clips even to this day. Like I've seen them done. I have done a few myself. Even just watching them happen in real time is just, it blows my mind to watch it happen. That's just the level of like talent that these runners have now for this game. With something that we considered not RTA viable at one point in time, it's just now, it's just a thing now. Like you just do it.
And it looks like Dark Ryu was able to get another very close door clip just past the Gordo.
So Dark Ryu taking on Kabula second. I wonder if that's a strategy that they use because the fight you're more likely to take damage on is the Kabula fight. 3 for 3 for Dark Ryu down this run on the Gordo clips. Because you're most likely to take damage on the Kabula fight just simply because you're fighting so close to the boss, and that you don't. I mean, you kind of know what they're going to do, but also at the same time, like you really don't know what they're going to do. So you're kind of bound to take damage in that fight regardless. So I wonder if they do that fight second, just to kind of set the tone for the rest of stage 5. I know that's what we do in extra mode, so. So here we have another nice Krakow fight. Oh no, it misses the star on Krakow. Luckily getting a Waddle Do immediately after.
Phew.
Three fight. Carlson making quick work of Lololo and Lolala, moving into Krakow re-entry as well too. We got 3 people in the Krakow room, 1 person in the Greens room. It's like I said, like sometimes like so after Lolo Lola refight, it really, I think it's runner preference at that point of what they want to do or where they want to go afterwards. Because Kirby spawns right in the center of the room, so. We now have Dark Ryu on the DDD fight here, so getting the double star there with the task bit. As a runner, you kind of want the double stars, but also Dark Ryu needs to be careful of his health because 1 hit point left. So gotta be very careful with that, especially since they're this far into the fight. We got a hammer and see ya DDD.
GG's Dark Ryu.
GG's Dark Ryu with a time of 11:11.
Wow.
That is insane. Yeah, got a minute past crack 1. Yep. That was incredible. We have Turtle RTA and Dark Saul going against DDD as well too in a very close battle for second place right now. It's going to come down to who gets the better DDD pattern. While Carlson's making very quick work of Kabula here. So Turtle needs to be a little bit careful with 1 hit point being that close to the edge while DDD has the hammer out. So here you can see DDD jumping up in the air to swing the hammer. Something you do gotta be a bit careful with. And DDD's hitbox isn't exactly what it looks like either. Hitboxes in Kirby's Dream Land is weird. That's the proper way of putting that. But we have Dark Saul finishing out DDD with a time of 12:13. Turtle right behind him with a time of 12:54. So Carlson now taking on DDD as well. Let's see what kind of pattern they get here for the fight.
GG's to Turtle. Clutching it out with the 1 health.
Yeah. It's always scary to fight this fight with 1 health. Especially if you're deep into the fight.
Carlson's facts. His PV currently is a 1433, and he fancies himself primarily a classic Sonic speedrunner.
Gotta go fast.
What better character? But if we could just put those shoes on Kirby.
I mean, Kirby's shoes are pink, so they're pretty close already. One more hit here for Carlson.
And GG's.
See ya, DDD. And if you think Carlson's PB is a 14:33, well, that cheat is now wrong. Carlson finishes the time of 14 minutes, 15 seconds.
Very nice.
Shaving nearly 20 seconds off of their PB at that race. Congratulations on the new PB. Congratulations all the runners for finishing the game. See, look at all the different food there is. This doesn't even make sense. Right. Results are in for round 3. We have an 11-11 by Dark Ryu, 12-13 from Dark Soul, 12-54 from Turtle, and a 14-15 from Carlson. Unfortunately, it is the knocked out time. However, congratulations on the near 20-second PB. Post that to SRC. I'll be sure to verify it later.
These 3 past rounds so far between Ryu, Dark Soul, and Turtle have had some quite interesting times, and it's still anyone's race here.
Oh, yeah, just pointed out to me at round 2, Carlson had a 13:45. It's almost a minute PB. Yeah, it's cracked out. I'm telling you. Give him a month. World record holder, Carlson. Kirby Street Mode. Alright, Tuesday night at 9 p.m. Eastern Time, Retro Gaming Live TV is going to be putting on a sports clinic here. So if you're into retro sports games such as baseball, football, what other sports games are there? Infinite soccer, I guess, maybe. But for the first episode, we'll be doing baseball stars. So if you're into watching sports, join us again on Tuesday night at 9 p.m. Eastern. Might see if we get some wrestling onto the sports channel too. Little Warzone, little WW, I guess Warzone, little WrestleMania, Super WrestleMania, play as the immortal Hulk Hogan. All right, we are now in round 4 here with our final 3 runners in the knockout tournament here. All right, we are about to get round 4 underway here. And our racers should be off. All right, so what we're gonna see, so we've seen this screen 100 times now already, but what the big thing you notice is when our runners do inhale an enemy, they almost immediately swallow it. That's simply because, like we talked about before, some of them are going for RNG manipulation. So if they do spit out an enemy and it breaks and causes multiple sprites across the screen, it changes some of the memory that's going on there, which will ultimately change the patterns that they're expecting. We have Fast Bomb on both Dark Ryu and Dark Soul, and it looks like Turtle as well, too. This is already insanely close for Green. So, but we do got some Kirby facts here for you. Kirby was initially represented as white in the box art. This was simply because Nintendo did not make a decision on what the color scheme was going to be for Kirby. So if you ever look at the North American and European box art, Kirby is white. And if you look at, I want to say the Japanese box art, he may be pink. I'm going to confirm that real quick here. They might be white on the Japanese box art as well. Nope, they're pink. So. Also, Sakurai wanted Kirby. Yeah, Sakurai wanted to be Kirby pink, while Miyamoto wanted Kirby to be yellow. And with a fun little compromise, whenever you have a second player, or if you have a multiplayer Kirby game, one of the options is yellow for Kirby. So. And the room before Turtle is in, there's actually, so when it comes to the 100% category, I briefly touched on and talked about that invincibility sucker. In the room that Turtle is in, there's actually another door if they would go further down the screen. So if they follow the steps down to the bottom of the screen, there's another door they can go through. They go through a water sequence that's loaded with Gordos. It's actually a kind of a fun sequence to go through. But they ultimately end up with a screen that they're on with the floating enemies, but it's just a longer way of getting there. Dark Ryu making quick work of Lololo and Lolala as well. Dark Soul not getting the pattern they're expecting there, but still an incredibly quick fight with the loss of Curry right at the end there. Putting them both into Float Islands here. So you can see Dark Ryu's strategy here. This is how I actually get through Float Islands as well too. where I inhale the squishy at the start and just jump through the water, and then I land atop the microphone, swallow everything, and just go through the rest of the stage. Meanwhile, Dark Soul kind of takes a different approach. It takes on the squishy halfway through the water. It takes out the bird at the back end of the microphone, and then just skips the microphone completely. So while you see Turtle taking a damage boost over the water, and just doing some little bit of a lag reduction going through there as well. So there's a little bit different strategies through Float Islands. Like I said, it's probably the more technical stage. It's a stage you kind of have to a little bit of think about your health when you go into the Kabula fight, because it kind of determines how aggressive you want to be in the Kabula fight itself. So another little fun fact about Kirby, this is probably the more known fun fact about Kirby, is that Kirby was originally just programmed to be just a in development placeholder for the game, but developers actually grew attached to the little blob itself, and at the end of the day, we have Kirby's Dream Land starring Kirby instead of some other sprite that, you know, we may have gone into a different game. That little float that we just saw Dark Soul do between the three Scarfies there, that float is so tedious to do, especially quickly, because it just, if you do one little slip up, you'll hit the corner of one of the Scarfies, and it'll just blow up and just push you. And they can kind of like pinball a little bit out of control, because like you get hit to a Scarfie, then you get hit into another Scarfie, then you're a little bit on tilt, then you hit the little like the little enemy above the platform as you jump over the pit. Sometimes it'll just lead to your death. Sometimes you're just even more tilting and get hit by more stuff before you enter the door. The opening sequence of Bubbly Clouds is kind of fun, but also can just be just an absolute nuisance, especially in a race setting. Turtle making some nice timing there, just getting it through the two enemies, and not having to worry about inhaling or taking damage boosts off of either one of them. You can see Turtle there standing at the left end of the fountain. Again, that's a lot of older runners. That was the approach that we took a lot of times. But again, there's no right or wrong. And the background clip for Turtle. Now you see him. Now you don't. Kirby is out of there, opting for the health potion to get 2 health back. The problem with getting that one is simply because now the timing is off with the Waddle D on that platform, so there's a high likelihood that you're just gonna get hit by that Waddle D. But Ryu making nice work of Kracko and moving on to Mount DDD, while Dark Soul starting the Kracko fight there and getting ready to tango with RNG's finest Cloud. Turtle there getting stuck in the corner. Pretty easy to do in this game, especially when you're in floating mode. Floating mode KDL is, or Kirby in floating mode is a little brutal. Not only is Kirby slower, Kirby's hitbox changes significantly, and it gives you just the opportunity to get stuck on a lot of things. So here we go. We got Dark Ryu going for Kracko. Not getting it. It gives Dark Soul some time to catch up there. Now that they're in the re-entry while Turtle goes into stage 5 now as well. So another thing that the runners need to be careful of on the Kabula fight is if you kill Kabula while Kirby's at the top of the screen, you could actually be killed by Screen Crush. Um, this was oddly enough a problem in the early Dreamland speedrunning days, because we would almost always kill Kabula at the top of the screen. And whenever the kill sequence ended and the screen scrolled down for the star, if Kirby was at the top of the screen in any circumstance at all, Kirby would get screen crushed and killed, and you'd have to redo the entire Float Island's re-entry again. So something to always keep in mind when fighting Kabula on the re-entry. Got some more facts to throw at you. So this game here. So if you ever pause Kirby Street, you just casually playing, you need to go get some water, stay hydrated, do some other things. You press pause and just wait 20 seconds. Kirby will actually just start dancing on the screen. Just that's how Kirby is. This only happens once for every time that you pause the game. It can only be seen again, unpaused in the game, pause it again, waiting another 20 seconds. So, actually a little fun, I guess, Easter egg addition to the game is actually pretty cool. Something else that we used to do for kind of a challenge, it doesn't really save any time, it doesn't really do anything special for you. But whenever Kirby gets, or like smashes up against a solid wall, Kirby kind of goes into like what looks like the size of a pencil. And if you can hit left and right, one frame between each other, you can make Kirby dance across the screen in the shape of a pencil, basically. It's actually, like I said, it doesn't do anything to help the game at all. It's just something to see how far we can get while doing it, but it's pretty fun. Alright, we got Dark Rio here about to finish out DDD, and see you later, King Penguin, with a time of 11 minutes, 13 seconds. An absolutely incredible run. Congratulations, Dark Rio, on first place in round 4. We got Dark Saw now facing off against DDD here. Let's see what type of pattern they get there with a double hit on DDD. Now need to set up for another task bit there to hopefully get another double hit when DDD decides to dive again. Something to also understand with the task bit as well too is that when you have the task bit set up, so when you have Kirby in the state of an instant attack, if Kirby gets hit, inhales for too long, or floats up into the sky, you instantly lose that flag. So you have to be careful of how far away and if you get hit, things of that nature. And like that, Dark Saw taking out King DDD with a time of 12 minutes, 7 seconds. They're shortly there behind Turtle with a time of 12 minutes and 39 seconds. Some fun facts about turtle speed here. We got a Kirby PB of 11:26. Very good time. Goal for today is a sub 11. And loves the simplicity of the Kirby Streamland run. Couldn't agree more. Was their first speed run, so holds a special place in the heart. Can 100% relate. Congratulations to our runners. Super close race between 3 very talented KDL runners. All right, and with that, we have Dark Brew with a time of 11:13, Dark Saul with a 12:07, Turtle with a time of a 12:39, and unfortunately is the knocked out time. GG's to all the runners. Congratulations to Dark Brew and Dark Saul to move on to round 5, which will be the final round of this knockout tournament. Right. So the quick pitch here, we got Rando Mondays, which is every Monday night at 7 p.m. Eastern time. If you're into randomizers, you do not want to miss this at all, especially when it comes to this coming Monday, where we'll be doing Earthbound PK Scramble randomizers. So definitely tune in for that and watch the magic happen as the runner goes through the Earthbound PK Scramble. And all of our weekly events is open to the community, so if you do want to join at any time, please join the Discord and keep an eye on events that you would like to join.
I certainly don't get a chance to join enough randos, but being able to do some of the randos, I probably would need to be a bit more familiar with some of the games.
Yeah, like I never get big into the randomizer stuff until literally this year when I started doing the multi-world stuff in Archipelago. So I can definitely appreciate a good randomizer now. So they're a lot of fun to watch now that I understand how they kind of operate and work. So yeah, there's a lot of games out there I just don't know well enough to be like, yeah, don't know where to go now. I'm out of sequence, don't know what to do.
And even the one game that I have participated in, since it requires usage of a world map, it's going to take me far longer than I really would like it to, but still fun either way.
Yeah, it's still a good time to do it. You get a good tracker and whatnot. You're usually pretty set to go at least. So, all right. With that, we have round 5 up with our final 2 runners for the knockout tournament. We have Dark Ryu and Dark Saul. 2 extremely good KDL runners.
But the times both of these runners have made since the start of this KONOT, anything can happen.
Oh yeah, 100%. Like I said, I've crossed paths with Dark Saw before. They actually knocked me out of a double elimination KDL tournament, I think like 2 or 3 years ago. So, um, I'm very familiar with them as a runner. But yeah, no, I am. If you're wanting to learn extra mode at all, I mean, like I said, we're gonna be at GDQ in a week, so
Why not?
I am more than happy to sit down and show you the ropes. And we have our runners off here in our final round, round 5 of Kirby Streamland Knockout Tournament. This is going to be a crazy race. This race is going to come down to movement, knowledge, bit of RNG if they don't get any piece of the RNG manipulation. So the first comes down to Poppy here. So we got the 2 bombs out. All right, Ryu getting a bomb, Darksaw getting a bomb, and they are off to the races to go off against Wispy. Yeah, so you can see in on both runner screens is that before they go into their floating sequence, they jump off of the floor before they go into their floating sequence, just because it's faster for Kirby to jump up than it is to just start floating up. Another thing we used to test too is lag for floating, actually. So there's 2 ways that you can float in Kirby Stream Land. You can hold up on the D-pad, or you could tap the floating sequence for Kirby. Darksaw unfortunately get hit by some apples there, but still making a bit quick work of Wispy Woods there. But we were testing the lag sequence between tapping A to float or holding up on the D-pad to float, and I believe it was quicker to tap to float than it was to hold the up button, because I think holding up just keeps triggering the input, so it just keeps putting some more demand on the game itself. But it wasn't enough to really make or break a run. So
I find it interesting that the runners deviate from the path to go get the curry.
Yeah, so there's a lot of different ways you can fight la, right? We've seen it very different ways already now. Unfortunately, Dark Ryu there taking some damage on la, missing the curry kill and breaking the box. They're giving Darksaw plenty of time now to catch up. But Curry Kill became pretty famous by Controller Head, who was the former world record of the game at the time of, it was like 11:21 or 11:22, which at the time of that record, we thought the absolute best human time that you could get in this game was 11:15. Mind you, the world record now is under 10 minutes.
Wow.
So
That's impressive.
yeah. So Curry Kill became pretty famous just by Controller Head, because he would always go for it. The world record run had it. So everyone, even to this day, still thinks you need to have a Curry Kill to have a good time, which is not the case. My 11:33 does not have a Curry Kill in it. So but Curry Kill is faster if you can one cycle low and la. So if you can get the right pattern for low and la with the curry, you can one cycle the boss, which makes that fight incredibly fast, versus going for without a curry kill. The fastest cycle you can get is a 3 cycle low and la, which still takes incredible movement and some luck where they're going to come out of. Even with going for curry, if you don't get the curry kill, even if you go for a 2 to 3 cycle, it's still about on par with a 3 cycle non-curry kill. So it definitely, once you get comfortable with the game, comfortable with the run, it's definitely worth to start practicing. But it's not detrimental of getting a sub 12 or a very good time in the game. So, but we can see here that Dark Ryu is just now going into Bubbly Clouds as Dark Soul just finished Kabula. So the little bit of mistakes that both runners have made this race still extremely close. So,
and we still have Krakow, both forms to deal with.
We still got Krakow times 2, Krakow squared, and DDD. So from here, it could some things to think about too is if either the runners can regain their manipulation seed after Krakow 1, they can make quick work out of stage 5. But it all comes down to if they can pull that off or not. It's not an easy feat.
At least the good thing about Krakow Jr. is he doesn't deviate from the attacks too much, not like regular version.
Yeah, it's here's some cannonballs, here's a waddle do. Have at it, you know. It is nice.
At least until extra mode.
I've always found the game interesting that Green Greens, Castle, la, and Bubbly Clouds they have some sort of mid boss, right? You got Poppy Bros and Green Greens, you got the la, quick fight, that's a mid fight, and then you have Krakow Jr. But Float Islands doesn't have a mid fight at all. It's just you just go. I always found that interesting in the game.
Honestly, we might take it we might take it and be glad that's not the case.
It's true. All right, looks like Dark Ryu trying to get their RNG seed back here. What you're going to see happen is when they land, in order to prevent any of the extra sprites that come out, they're going to press down as they land back down on the floor. What that does is that it puts Kirby into the crouch, which eliminates the additional sprites coming from the floor.
Odd.
Yeah.
Very close.
Very good Krakow kills. This is a race. This is a race to the finish now, going into stage 5. Both runners going into stage 5. La and la. Without Curry, so we get to see what kind of sequence they're going to get and the movement that each runner can do in that fight.
And once again, Dark Ryu slides right into.
Yeah.
And never gets tiring.
And you know what? That could be the determining factor of this race too. Is the fact that Dark Ryu is just so insane
consistent
at getting those Gordo clips.
Very consistent.
Right, Lola down for Dark Soul while Ryu goes into the Float Islands re-entry. Dark Soul into the Krakow fight.
Wow.
Dark Ryu 2 for 2 going into the Gordo clips.
When I looked at that, I initially thought he landed right on the Gordo.
Yeah, it's a 2 to 3 frame window to get into there without iframes. But we do know that if Dark Ryu is going for Krakow, this is the one that they typically do die on. So gets it 3 for 3 Gordo clips
Very
going
nice.
into the Krakow re-entry. Looks like Dark Soul's having a little bit of a time with this Krakow here. Hopefully for another Waddle Do. There we go. And out of Krakow refight, they'll be moving on to the Float Islands re-entry here. While Dark Ryu 2 hits away from taking down Krakow, going into the Green Greens re-entry.
One more boss left for Dark Ryu before DD.
Oh, 4 for 4,
Fourth.
Gordo clips.
Wow.
Now they are both in the Green and Green's re-entry here. Dark Soul getting through the initial base stage there to face off against Wispy. Ryu need to be a little bit careful with 1 hit point. Does take an accidental hit from a puff or an apple. Gives a catch-up chance here for Dark Soul here.
Okay, he does decide to take the safety death.
Yeah. Right, Soul getting quick puffs at least. Going and getting the initial apples here. So now it's going to come down to what pattern do the runners get on DDD. Remember, Dark Soul didn't have to take the initial death for the full health on D2D, while Ryu did. So they're very much hand in hand right now. It all comes down to the pattern that the Penguin is going to give them.
Hmm.
Yeah, double hit there by Dark Soul.
It's too bad about the
This
interruption
is
that
incredible.
happened. Ooh. Oh, you've got to be kidding me. This is going to be so close.
This is incredible.
This is ridiculous. Oh my goodness. 1 hit left. Oh. They both have one more hit
One
left.
hit
Who
left for
gets it?
both of them.
And the winner...
They hammered a jump.
Whoa. We need a photo finish.
Wow.
Yeah, we need a slow motion cam for this.
According to the race bot, that was insane. According to the race bot, Dark Soul finishes in first place with a time of 11 minutes 59 seconds. The Dark Ryu with a 12 minutes and 2 second time according to the race bot.
Congrats.
That was wow.
Yeah.
That was incredible. What a way to have a final round.
Yeah.
3 second difference just from the race spot, but like literally a photo finish on stream. Wow.
I was impressed that Dark Ryu was able to obtain 4 for 4 for the door clips.
Yeah. The consistency that Dark Ryu had through all the rounds getting those door clips. Like the Kraken one gave them a little bit of an issue typically, but like just the consistency they had to get through them, regardless of the Kraken one. You just don't see it. You just don't see it. That was incredible. All right, and with that, Dark Soul taking first with a time of 11 minutes 59 seconds, and Dark Ryu taking second with a time of 12 minutes and 2 seconds, which is the knocked out time. Congratulations, Dark Soul, on first place in the first Kirby's Dream Land Knockout Tournament. Congratulations to all the runners, especially those that definitely got PBs, like Carlson there with 13:45. Fantastic runs by everyone, fantastic races. This was super fun to watch.
Agreed.
It was really fun to watch just like the spectrum of talent across the screen. Like I'd love to see Weapon, Compix, and Carlson keep practicing the game to push the times even lower. I know they're great runners, fantastic people, so I know they can definitely obtain the time that they want to obtain in the game. Dark Ryu getting 3 11-minute times, especially 11, 11, 11, 13. Just wow. The door clips. Dark Soul, a very consistent runner. Low 12s, and finishing the tournament with a sub 12. Just absolutely incredible.
This is just so enjoyable to watch and attempt commentary on. I wish it was longer.
Yeah. I mean, we can shoot Kirby Streamland 2. We'll be here all day.
It's a thought for another time, but yes.
Kirby
We'd only have
trilogy.
to find a way to make the clip to skip half of the game.
Kirby Streamland trilogy, KONOT. Be here for a week. Absolutely incredible. Looks like we are going to try and get Rio and Dark Salt into the commentary chat here for the interview. Just can't get over just how good all the runners did, just how talented the runners are with the Dreamland now. All right, we have next Tuesday Golf Club. Final Cat and Vanny. Not sure which golf game this is going to be. I'm assuming Mario Golf, but definitely tune in Tuesday. Next Tuesday, every other Tuesday. There we go. Every other Tuesday. Tune in for Golf Club with Final Cat and Vanny. Obviously, y'all can join in on this with the scorecards and playing the game and whatnot. It's fun to watch. It's fun to play. I don't get the luxury of having to play in the golf club because I have other things to do Tuesday night. But the times I get to play golf with them, usually typically during Mario Marathon or some other various times throughout the year, it's always super fun and enjoyable. So highly recommend, if you can't play the games, at least watch it. It's always a good time. All right, we've pulled in Dark Soul and Dark Ryu. Welcome. Congratulations, Dark Soul, again on first place in the knockout tournament. Congratulations, Ryu, on just some absolutely insane times and Gordo clips during the race as well, too.
The absolute flat of those Gordo clips.
Oh man, but the final race there between you two, when Ryu went 4 for 4 on the Gordo clips, I'm like, there is no way. I was like, there is no way. It just came down to that DDD pattern at the end. But yeah, no, congratulations to both of you. First Kirby Dreamland knockout tournament. I know we've had other Dreamland tournaments in the past put on by the Kirby community itself, whether that be single elimination, double elimination, which usually take months to finish because it's so hard to get us all together in one spot. But going into the knockout tournament, I'll start with you, Dark Soul. Going into the knockout tournament, what was the initial thought going into? Because I know you and I have raced before. You and I have gone head to head a couple times, but just the mentality of going into a tournament where if you kind of mess up, there's a chance that you're just done.
Honestly, the whole thing kind of felt like a race to second for the most part. Dark is really, really good at the game, really good at the manip route. And honestly, I kind of figured that was probably what's going to happen, and it more or less did. Until the end.
What about you, Dark Ryu? I know that you have a sub 10 in the game, which, by the way, when I actively ran the game, we didn't think sub 11 was possible. So, having the knowledge, the experience, and just the know-how of pulling off some of those incredible feats, like coming into the knockout tournament, were you at all questioning whether to do maybe some of the Gordo clips or some of the strategies that you were trying to pull? Were you more focused on making sure to get, you know, the RNG manipulation, the RNG manip seed from the get-go, or were you just knowing that like you may not get it from the get-go, but you're gonna try and get it later on, possibly after Krakow 1?
I just practiced basically the whole game pretty evenly, and my philosophy, my strategy, whatever you want to call it, I was just gonna go for every Gordo clip one time, and then if I missed it, I would do the normal way.
I mean, fair enough.
Yeah, you nailed them.
You were really consistent with them.
Extremely consistent with them. Nailed them. I noticed the Krakow one gave you a little bit of trouble a couple times, but because every time I saw you drop, I was like, oh, because like when we did Gordo clips, we just used the iframes and everything else. Like watching you do them without having to take the initial damage to go in, I was like, that's. Especially doing it on the fly like that, it was just, wow.
Yeah, I'm still trying to figure out how to make the Krakow one consistent. I only got the Kabula clip consistent last night.
Wow. Yeah, I didn't know anyone was gonna go for. I didn't know anyone was gonna go for Gordo clips A, and B. I figured if anyone would go for the Gordo clip, it would be the iframed one off of Krakow, because that's by far the easiest one to get. And when I saw you in the first round hit the Lolo and Lala Gordo clip on that slide, I was like, "Are you kidding me?" Because that's like it's like a 2 to 3, maybe a 4 frame window to get that door entry. Because that Gordo doesn't move a whole lot.
Yeah, luckily it lines up really nicely, and in this case I just used pause buffering to make sure I got the down to up input, just to be a little safer. I thought about bringing out my dance pad, which is what I use to help with the down up input and actual PB attempts.
Oh my god.
Oh, I'd love to see that.
The dance pad strats are bad.
Well, I'm glad someone else uses a non-controller for the run besides me. So I used to use the bongo pads from DK's Bongo, or Jungle, whatever it's called on the
Jungle Bait, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
I
wow.
used to use the bongos for the game just for like the extra challenge. I'm glad to hear someone uses a DDR pad though, for the game.
Speedrun strats.
So I know. So with going into the knockout rounds themselves, was there any? So I noticed, a few times like you maybe would get hit by something random and kind of like throw you off a little bit, or maybe take like an accidental death or a purposeful death. It kind of determine whatever happened in the game kind of happened. That's just what happens in a race. Was there any fear at all? Especially probably in the later rounds of being like, oh, I made this mistake. Like, how close am I to the chopping block?
Yeah, I think like third or fourth round, I was kind of concerned at one point because I think it was the run where I ran into the enemy again trying to do Curry Tail, and I'm like, good. Just what I needed.
I wasn't worried about any specific mistake, but once it got to like 3 or 4 people left, I knew that there was always a chance I could get eliminated if I had a bad enough run, if I got bad enough luck.
Yeah, same for me. Same for me, especially round 4, where I know it was down to me and Turtle, and I was like, DDD, I need you to please give me an attack, like, now? Please?
DDD is always the not always, I guess, but big time will be the decision factor, especially if a race is close. Especially round 5 that we just saw. We saw Ryu go in there and take the initial death to start the fight with full health. I'm assuming to do that to attempt the double star hits on DDD, so you can set up that task bit and get that second star instantly out. To try and make some quick work out of them. Yeah, but
yeah, the same reason I did it in one of the rounds.
Yeah. So, but yeah, like that DDD fight in round 5, like one of you would be a couple hit points ahead, then all of a sudden now you're tied. Like that final DDD round, I don't know how both of you raced, but when you race, do you have the other racers like screen up at all? So like, did you know like how close?
I didn't actually. I had like the stream outside to hear the commentary, and that was kind of it.
I was kind of watching the stream for like the first half of the race, but then I had just Discord open in Mount DD so I could press done as soon as possible.
Yeah. Yeah, that the if you have the time after this, I 100% encourage you both to go watch that round 5 DDD just to see just how close it actually was.
Honestly, I plan to, because I want to see how that ended up.
Oh man, it was so.
Like I caught like the
was
very end
unbelievable.
of it, and it was like frames separated.
Oh yeah,
us.
yeah, it was incredible.
Saw the synchronized ending because of stream delay.
Yeah, but I mean, like a 3-second difference, like that. Incredible, you know, it's still just an incredible race. For speedrunning in general, I'll start with you, Dark Blue. But Dreamland was what really brought you into Dreamland? Was it just like the purity of the game? Like there's no quote unquote like glitches to the game at all. Like there is a fairly newish, you know, the RNG manipulation that Speedman found. But for the most part, like there's nothing crazy about the game at all. Like there's no out of bounds stuff. There's no warping and wrapping and anything like that.
I started with Dreamland 3 and kind of spread to the other classic titles as well. And specifically with Dreamland, I saw the RNG manip for the world record at the time was not quite perfect and was not carried all the way through. So it motivated me to come up with my own manip and try to get perfect RNG everywhere, which I was able to do.
Yeah, I think when Speedman found it, he only carried it up to the low refight.
That sounds about
Or
right.
either that or it was up to DDD, I forget which.
I don't remember. I remember him finding it and making the practice ROM for it.
Halfway through DDD, I think. Something like that.
But that's interesting to hear that you started with Dreamland 3. There's a few of us that look at Dreamland 3 and we're just like, ugh. Cool and clean. I don't know. That's pretty much the entire run.
The run is fun outside of the mashing.
Outside of the mashing. Yeah, if you're
really-
going...
Like, as far as Kirby goes, a lot of Kirby games are very random, and there's almost no RNG in that game. It's very skill-based. It's just the mashing that turns people away.
Yeah, especially if you're doing 80% where you're just flying and you have clean the entire time, and it's just coup for half the run. So it's interesting to hear that you started with Dreamland 3 though. I personally love the artwork of Dreamland 3. I think it's a very fun game casually as well.
Yeah, great artwork and music.
Yeah, it's still one of my favorite art styles in the series.
But Dark Soul, with you, like I said, I know you've been in the KDL community for a while, because like I said, you and I have raced each other.
Yeah, back to the 2019 tourney.
Yeah, back in the 2019 tournament, and so you were at least joining KDL as I was kind of exiting KDL. What really brought you into Dreamland as well?
Honestly, when it was the tournament, I was like, you know what, I'll try my hand at it, and somehow ended up near top 10 of the game at the time, and fourth in the tournament.
Yeah.
I'm still not sure how I pulled it off, other than just doing a lot of runs.
But when it comes to Dreamland, like I mentioned earlier, like there's no copy abilities. Like there's power ups, right? But there's no copy ability. Like there's no cut, there's no sword, there's none of that. So like when you first entered when you first came into the scene and wanting to speed run the game, like what really drew you into Dreamland?
Funny enough, also the the movement in general, because there's no abilities. Like what got me into the speedrunning the series in general was Nightmare in Dreamland no copy abilities, where it's what it says on the tin, you don't use any of them.
Interesting.
So it just kind of
Okay.
felt a little bit like that, except a lot shorter.
Interesting. You would probably like the fan made ROM hack. It's called
I played it once.
Dreamland Advance or whatever.
Yeah, I played it once. It feels a little weird physics-wise compared to
It's fast.
Nightmare in Dreamland.
It's fast. But that's interesting. So like, I know a little bit about Nightmare in Dreamland. I used to run the 80% for that game. I never knew there was a no copy category though. So
You used to be called powerless at one point, and that's what it was when I was initially running it. And then I think later we ended up renaming it to no copy abilities, and I think for Kirby's Adventure it also got named. It was no abilities there. So.
yeah, that was no abilities for Adventure. I remember that one. That's an interesting transition because like the Nightmare in Dreamland like physics engine, like
It's very different.
Yeah. Like I like the game, but I hate the physics. I hate the physics engine for Nightmare in Dreamland because it just feels so slidey and momentumy to me. But the transition going from Nightmare in Dreamland to Dreamland, that's a pretty harsh transition.
I've also played these games to death growing up, so it's pretty much just a natural extension of I played these a ton. I'm just gonna do something different now.
That's fair, yeah, yeah. But yeah, no. So now that the Dreamland Knockout tournament is done, do you guys have any goals for Dreamland speedrunning or any speedrunning goals after Dreamland at all?
For this game, admittedly, not really, unless I somehow manage to get a run where I get top 10 again, or actually get top 10 for the first time. Otherwise, I'm kind of content where I am with the game. Maybe I'll try some more extra mode stuff. I've been trying to do like a really weird challenge with it, but no dice on that yet. Otherwise, I'm probably going to start doing some more Forgotten Land practice for a tournament that the Japanese community is actually going to be doing soon.
Oh, nice. Okay. That's awesome.
I'd like to tie world record if I can, just because when I got my PB, 2 of the Gordo skips hadn't really been like discovered yet as far as RTA goes. So I'm trying to incorporate them into a PB, and then I'm also going to go back to Forgotten Land.
Nice. Forgotten Land was an amazing game. If those of you in chat that hasn't played Forgotten Land yet, it is
absolutely play it. It
an
is
absolute
such a good game.
banger of a Kirby game. It's a
Very
very
interesting.
good game. It's better than Star Allies. I'll just say that. It doesn't take much. But that's awesome. That's fantastic to hear. Extra mode is my category of choice as well. So I definitely have put my fair share of time into normal mode, but I feel extra mode is there's something about extra mode that just makes it feel a bit more special. No pun intended. So
to be fair, you don't have to worry about Krakow being, Krakow.
Yeah, we were Infinite Mystery and I were literally talking about that in one of the rounds. We were just talking about like, imagine if they had hard mode Krakow in normal mode. It would just be a night and day difference because Krakow hard mode or extra mode Krakow
has like no RNG.
There's almost no RNG. Plus, you can double hit it with the bombs. You can technically triple hit it, but I haven't figured out how to do that yet.
I've tried to do double hits when I was learning extra mode, but I never could actually pull it off.
They're tough. Be positioned just right, but you can actually do a triple hit as well. It's insane to do, but it can be done.
I think I've seen it at least once.
Yeah, out of the hundreds of times I have attempted the triple hit, I've gotten it maybe like once or twice. So, but it could definitely be done with by the right runner. So,
you're saying there's a chance?
oh yeah, no,
Yes.
yeah. Dude, there's no Gordo clips, by the way, in the extra mode run either. So have at it.
We're trying to watch. Give it like a year. He'll find like a whole manip strat for extra mode for the stuff that even needs a manipulation strat, and then Gordo clip.
I've said it before, I would come back to Dreamland if someone figured out how to skip the boss rush. I don't like stage 5.
Not sure if that one's gonna be found. At least not anytime soon.
Yeah, probably not anytime soon. Alright, well, Infinite Mystery, you have anything to say to our runners or ask our runners?
I think you've covered. I think you've covered all the questions I would have thought of. But I'm just, if there's anything I would add, I was just glad to see both of the runners and everyone else join and provide such entertainment for this great KNO and LT.
Yeah, I was a little nervous at first because there's so much happening in May, right? Like Infinite Mystery and I put this up very quickly. Like we were just like, oh, we need a game for May. What should it be? Dreamland, easy game to learn. You can learn in about 2 hours. You can learn the basics in about 2 hours. Okay, great, because we have GDQ the last week of May. And it's so early. It's just like, oh, like what? Like people are gonna be practicing for GDQ. There's other stuff happening in May. Like we need to find something so quick. And then when I posted in the Kirby Discord, I was a little nervous because like there wasn't a lot of like pull for. I was like, all right, well, toss to the Twitter and whatnot. But so I was a little nervous, but the turnout we had today was incredible for the game, and I'm very, very happy with how everything turned out, especially for Dreamland having its first knockout tournament ever. So.
Yeah, I almost didn't enter, but Turtle talked about it quite a few times during my streams. I was like, you know what? I'll see how I do.
Thank you, Turtle.
and look how you did.
Nice to see some beginners come out as well. Hopefully they had a good time.
Yeah. Honestly, I hope Weapon and what was the other one?
Cakes.
Yeah, Cakes. Yeah.
Yeah, I'd like to see them both continue with it. I'd love to see how far they take their times down.
Ditto.
Yeah, agreed. 100% agree. But yeah, I appreciate you two joining us on as an interview afterwards. Appreciate both of you joining the knockout tournament as well too. Dark Soul, congratulations again on winning the knockout tournament in an absolute banger of a round 5.
Also, congrats to Riolu for the crazy strats in general, and especially the Gordo steps, because I am not doing those.
Yeah, absolute insane times. Yeah, absolute insane times by you, Ryu. Like you had a 12:39 around 1, and then 11:34, and 11:11, and 11:13. Just like I'm just like there's just incredible times. Both of you very consistent runners across the board. So, and thank you to all the other runners as well too that joined in on the tournament. This tournament obviously wouldn't have happened without all of you. So I do appreciate you all. And Dreamland does hold a pretty dear spot in my heart, as it was my first speedrun getting into the speedrun community in general. So.
Yeah, I think for me it was like my second, as far as like once I actually joined the community, and it's definitely when I started doing it more seriously.
Yeah, I guess, but technically my quote-unquote first speedrun is the Uber glitch in Pokemon Yellow, but it's not a speedrun. So, it's not really a speedrun. But, yeah, Dreamland was my first real speedrun, so it will always hold a spot near and dear to me. But, yeah, thank you all again for joining. I hope everyone in chat enjoyed watching the the Dreamland knockout tournament. Probably have some stuff running afterwards here. Definitely chime in or tune in on Monday, where we have Random Mondays, where we're doing Earthbound PK Scramble. If you're interested in joining the rando as well too, you can join in as the community. Just join in on Discord and see how things are happening. Tuesday night we do have sports night where we'll be playing baseball. And then every other Tuesday is golf club with Flannel Cat and Bonnie. So definitely we have some live entertainment coming to you all. So definitely keep an eye out and stay tuned for that. And with that, I think we are good to wrap things up. Thank you again, Darksol and Ryu, for joining us on interview commentary. Infinite Mystery, thank you for joining me on commentary. Always
Thank you,
appreciate being
UBC,
around.
for having me on commentary.
Anytime. If you ever want to commentate any of my games when I'm running it, you just say the word.
Okay.
Last night, everybody.